Hello, hello, hello. Good to see Ravigo55, David Silk in as well, Amma Wadey. We've got Anthony Hall in. Brilliant stuff. And we're about to get going in just over 5 minutes from now with radio news jingles, starting on the hour. How are you doing today, by the way? What are you up to today? What are you working on? What have you got going on? Let me know. Four and a half minutes to go. In already, I can see Matteo. Nice to see you. Martina as well. The Crazy Gamer. Howdy to you. Mr. Mega Radio UK. Ira Carlson. Notification Squad. Bojan's in. Yay. Mr. Mega Radio UK working on websites. It'd be good to pitch bend. I haven't caught up with all the chat, David, but I will scroll back and take a look. Benny Boy. Ravigo55 drinking coffee, which I would suggest that's a very good Benny Boy. Take a Benny Boy. Wow. Okay. We got something fun going on there with feedback. And I think I know exactly why that is. It's Facebook doing something funky. Stop with the feedback. Wherever that's coming from. That is ridiculous, isn't it? Too much feedback for one go. Wow, my goodness me. I'm going to have to take that offline for the moment. Missing the OMS, but getting far too much feedback. Wow, crazy stuff. Yeah, exciting though. Time is ticking and we're going live very, very soon indeed. So stand by for that. Hopefully you can see things on my Facebook preview. I'm not getting any picture at the moment. Let me just click go live and hopefully that will fix things up. It should do. If I know how it works. Wow, crazy stuff. Yeah, exciting though. Time is ticking and we're going live very, very soon indeed. Go live and hopefully that will fix things up. Wow, crazy stuff. Yeah, exciting though. Time is ticking and we're going live very, very soon indeed. Yeah, exciting though. Okay. If you're watching now on my personal Facebook page, by the way, is anything coming out? Can you see anything or hear anything? Something weird is happening with Facebook Live right now, it has to be said. Maybe we'll have to drop it on the personal profile today. I've got a feeling we might have to. If you're watching now on my stand by. Is anything 1 minute to go.
Testing the left speaker. Left. Testing the right speaker. Right. Testing phaser. Full frequency sweep. Now. Stand by
for Music Radio Creative Live with Mike Russell.
MRC Live. Music Radio Creative Live
with Mike Russell.
Starting in 30 seconds.
Hello and a very happy middle of the week to you. Yes, it's Wednesday. Can you believe it is Wednesday already? I am Mike Russell from Music Radio Creative, and in this session we're going to get down, we're going to get creative with radio news jingles. So if that's your bag, we're going to be working with all kinds of sounds to introduce a news bulletin. So that big build-up before the top of the hour on a radio station. It's going to be very, very exciting. And by the way, I've got a big thank you to do at the top of this show to Anna Clements, who was watching yesterday, and she decided I created a jingle, which I've got loaded here on my little play out system here. I've got a set of hotkeys on my iJingle app, and I did have a jingle that sounded a little bit like this for the phone-in number, because you can call into this live stream on
415-800-1055.
Add +1 if you're outside the United States, by the way, and you'll get through to my telephone here in the studio, and we can have a little bit of a chat. But Anna decided to go one level better and record me a lovely sung jingle.
415-800-1055, Mike Russell.
Oh, I love that. Shall we hear it one more time, Anna?
415-800-1055, Mike Russell.
So I thought that was rather amazing. Anna shared that with me via SoundCloud, actually. She uploaded it to SoundCloud just over there. That's her profile. And you can check Anna out at soundcloud.com/Anna Clements. That's ANA Clements. And yeah, definitely go and check her out and say a big, huge thank you to Anna for dropping in the phone number. So outside the United States, it's +1
415-800-1055, Mike Russell.
There you go. And that number will get you straight through to me live here in the studio, and we'll have a bit of a chat about whatever you fancy. So here today, I'm going to be working inside Adobe Audition mainly and creating radio news jingles in front of your eyes, and also answering your questions. Every 15 minutes here on this live stream, I delve into whatever you've been mentioning or talking about, and then sort of answer some questions. So please feel free to post away inside the chat. So I'm just going to load up. I've got a few little bits and bobs here, some of our jingle beds and bits like that, and news jingles, various news jingle elements from stuff we've been working on. And I fancy working on something for a previous client of ours at Music Radio Creative called Z100.7.
All the hits.
Z100.7.
So that's the a cappella we had created for Z100.7, and this is the jingle music. So I'm just going to drag that all into Audition now and start to create something. I haven't got a voiceover to go with this, so I might do something myself for this particular example. So let's drag in the a cappella here, put it on one of the tracks, and the music bed is here. We're going to cut this down to size so that we can make it time really nicely up to the top of the hour. So DJs using it can say, okay, I need to hit this at this particular time, or if it's going into a piece of software that automates the radio station and plays out the news jingle, you need to have those timings absolutely tight and precise so that you can hit a news bulletin, because usually on the radio you get these news bulletins coming in at an exact time. So at exactly 2 o'clock on the dot by the atomic clock, the newscaster will start reading from wherever they're based. Just to throw out a few services that I know internet radio stations use, there's quite a few here. Sky News Radio obviously is a huge one, Sky News Radio, and I know a lot of stations sign up to that service. A big and long-standing one, some reason the website's gone down, is IRN, which is Independent Radio News. Again, that's a UK-based news service, so I am mentioning quite a few UK-based services. I'm sure there are other international services, but IRN's a pretty good one as well, still going strong. And this one, I believe, comes from Washington, D.C., featurestorynews.com. You might want to check them out. Again, I'm not sure if they charge or how much it costs. I haven't run a radio station with news bulletins for a very long time. Maybe somebody in the chat can tell me if you're aware of a news service, particularly one that's internet radio friendly. Do let me know about it, and I'll give it a mention, because I know some of them actually upload MP3s every hour, and then internet stations can grab them and put them into their stream and play out as and when needed. So there we go. So just a few resources you can use, but I thought I should preface this by saying, right, we're going to make this so that it hits a certain time. Now, when creating the radio news jingle, we have to make some decisions. Is it going to be a very short stab? So are we going to be looking to make a jingle that's 10 seconds in duration? Is it going to be 5 seconds in duration? If so, it might just be enough time to say, on the hour, every hour, all the hits. This is Z100.7, and then boom, into the news bulletin. So we have to make a decision. Is it going to be 10 or 5 seconds, or is it going to be something that the radio DJ can use to talk over introducing the news? And this is something I've seen done at many radio stations where they'll have 30 seconds or even a minute of music coming in. Now, a reason this could be good, I don't know if it works the same in the US, but certainly here in the UK, most radio stations I know of tend to take an ad break before the top of the hour, which I guess is a nice place to slot in ads. But also, you can be unique and different if you don't do an ad break. So I remember the days of back timing music to end exactly before the news jingle. And I think for this particular example here, I'm going to make it a 30-second news jingle. For the presenter or host to talk over. And then if you start it at exactly 30 seconds to the hour, so say the next bulletin's coming up here in the UK at 3 p.m, if you start this at 2:59 and 30 seconds, this will take you right up to the hour. So let's have a look here. We need to lop a bit of this off because it's a minute long. I could use Adobe Audition Remix, by the way. It's a great thing for shortening music, but as I want to be really, really precise, and I don't know quite how I'm going to edit this yet, I'm going to move this so it sort of finishes around the 30-second mark. And one of the best use cases I've seen a talk-up bed for this, thank you, young Roxy, for subscribing to my channel, is if the host gives out some information ahead of the news, like, for instance, what's coming up in the next hour of radio, or sometimes I've even seen this technique used, thank you, Tyron, for subscribing. I've seen this technique used to give out the weather forecast ahead of the news. Again, usually weather comes at the end of the news bulletin, but why not swap it around and put it before? So I'm going to leave the decay at about half a second before 30, which will be around here. There's the logo. And there's actually a nice decay there, so you'd get this kind of logo coming out like this. It would start like that. It's 3 o'clock. I'm Mike Russell. There you go. Perfect. So yeah, half a second. If I make it too tight, if I pull it right up to the 30-second mark, you'll get something like this with the news. It's 3 o'clock. I mean, that's quite good. That's quite tight, isn't it? Or you can leave a second's decay, which is probably even better. It's 3 o'clock. I'm not sure. I'm going to go for half a second. It really depends on the format of the station. If it's a tight dance station, you might want to really make that time delay between the jingle ending and the news bulletin starting small. But I'm going to leave half a second of decay time. Then I'm going to put in this a cappella here and make it match up nicely. And I'm going to need to do some matching of volumes here so that we can get a good sound. So let's select all those waves and match the clip loudness here. Yes! Thank you, Errol. By the way, if you do subscribe to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/musicradiocreative, you get a huge yes on the stream. So that's always a reason to do it. Z100.7. Let's just tighten that up a bit and make it fit nicely. Z100.7. Really nice a cappella that, and then we've got this as well.
All the hits.
Z100.7.
And I might just grab this and pull this down here.
All the hits.
Just trying different effects. This is my Adobe Audition preset template. So
All the hits.
that's quite nice. It's got an echo decay there. I'm going to get that on beat. We're looking at 445. Okay, let's go into the effects rack. And we got 445 and then 445 times 2 equals 890. So we're going for 890 there.
All the hits.
All the hits, Z100.7. And then the news bulletin. Another decision you need to make when you're designing a news jingle for your radio station is, do you want the news bulletin to be dry? In other words, with no music bed underneath it? Or do you want to put something in the background, some kind of tinkly music in the background? And that's a decision you have to make. So we do actually have packages here. And when we have jingle packages, so for instance, we have Music Radio Creative Utopia, Music Radio Creative Hurricane, Music Radio Creative Gaia or Aphrodite that we sell on the website musicradiocreative.com. But we also have our own custom beds for news, for traffic, for weather and stuff. So I'm just going to pull this in on the next music track and have a listen to how this sounds. Let's listen to the whole thing. This is one of our special Music Radio Creative news beds, and yeah, I quite like this. So, as you can hear, it's got that beep. So I might actually take a sample of that and loop that for when the newscaster is reading. Now, the best thing about news for you, if you're not in the radio industry, and you don't know this, if you are in the radio industry, of course you'll know this, but if you're not in the radio industry, news bulletins usually need to be an exact duration, and the newscaster needs to read for that amount of time. Usually it's 2 minutes. Sometimes on hit stations it can be 1 minute, but that's really handy to know, because then I know I can make that bed exactly 2 minutes and it will fit perfectly with the news bulletin. Let's try mixing this in. Okay, so I'm going to bring that in maybe at the 30 mark here. Let's see what kind of build. So that's where the beep comes in. And I need a riser, so let's go to my media browser. Oh, look at that, already in the risers section. No, that's not the right riser, unfortunately. That's better. Obviously, the levels need sorting out. Match clip loudness is just an absolutely fantastic feature, because you start to get a mix that is already bearable without needing to make too many changes. What I could also do is on the 7, I might pull that to the echo track. Oh, I'm going to use a shortcut that David Silk made me aware of yesterday. Thank you, David, for the kind information here. If I hold down Shift and while I right-click and move, this locks in time. I think I did talk about this on a previous stream. This is super handy, because what I used to do is I used to do lock in time like this and then move it around. But then if I wanted to move it later, I had to unlock in time. So holding Shift while you move a waveform in Adobe Audition, super handy there. Not enough sort of decay there on the echo. Can't really hear the 7 echoing, so let's boost that up. Bit too much now, so let's bring that down. That's good. Okay. So we're getting that kind of radio news feel now. Need to obviously make this bed come in nicely. So let's see what we got at the start of this music bed. Let's play from the start here. So that's where we want to come in, really, around that beat. And then we've got this that we can mix together. Okay. So what I'm thinking here now, I'm just trying to match up those two bits there. So the intro music has a nice natural start. By the way, I just wanted to say I've got all the windows and doors open here today on the Isle of Wight, because it's a rather hot day. It's about 22 degrees outside, and if you hear any bikes or scooters in the background going past, it is the Isle of Wight Scooter Rally this weekend. Hundreds, I believe, even thousands of scooter riders descend on the island on the ferries and ride all the way around our small tiny island on their scooters. So if you do hear a scooter or two, it means they're arriving early, and I've got everything in the studio open today, so we might have some extra effects as I work away today. Right, I'm going to carry on with this in just a moment, but for the moment I will go over and look over here at this wonderful feature that we've had designed by Ule, developer from Norway in the music radio creative community. And he's created this amazing lower third piece of code that generates such lower thirds such as this one. DJ Sandy C, I make my own jingles with the packages I got from you. That's absolutely awesome. Thank you so much, DJ Sandy C. Great to hear that. And we got some chats there as well going on. Let's see what else we've got. Got a ton of good stuff going on here. So Mateo says, I want a jingle like this. Well, absolutely. Why not? Why not have a jingle like this? You can at musicradiocreative.com. That is the place to go. Back to DJ Sandy C. Let's have a look. Facebook and YouTube Live on the same time. Lots of feedback. Stick with one. I know. I do try to expand the places that we cover lots, but yes, Facebook Live, I was testing it. It is always live, by the way, and I know people are watching right now on Facebook Live over on facebook.com/musicradiocreative, like William Lee Decker II. Hello, sir. Good to see you again, and thank you for tuning in. Face ache is crumbling today. Thank you. Joe's in there as well. We've got Shrey is in as well. We use IRN at Radio Harrow. Ben Hart will be able to tell you about the tech setup. That's Shrey saying that. Yeah, I'd love to know how it works for internet radio stations. Really would. What else have we got? Oh, that's interesting. I've never heard of a person called Lorem Ipsum. Well, obviously I have when designing websites. That's a rather interesting avatar you have there, Lorem Ipsum. Can't believe I just put that live on my channel now. We got Amir there, we got Aramis, we got Christopher Pendy, who says, good morning all. Well, of course it is good morning for you, Christopher, isn't it? Absolutely. What else have we got? Oh, that jingle that I played earlier, Christopher is commenting on the 1055 jingle. If you did want to call in and talk to me live, for whatever reason, if you've got a question or something, you can call this number. Anna Clements from the MRC community recorded this jingle.
415-800 1055. Mike Russell.
Which is rather good, so you can get in touch. I'm just rifling through some of the chats inside YouTube. Daft Cat Brewing is in and says, afternoon all. That's interesting from Aramis. Will you use analog delay in this stream? Do you mean actually on my stream or on the creation of the news jingle? Not quite sure what you mean there, but analog delay is always good. What else have we got going on in YouTube live chat today? Tons of cool stuff. Bojan, why do I have audition mixer levels at -3? Couldn't find where to reset that to 0. Interesting question. We got Jay Omar, who is following from Mexico City. Wow, awesome. Nice to see you down there, Jay Omar, in our lower third. Oakley is in. I believe, Oakley, you're watching from Africa. So where is it? Is it Tanzania you are, Oakley? It's lovely to have you watching in on the stream today as well. What else have we got? Oh, yes. Good question. Joe is there in the chat and he's saying, who's running the questions? At the moment, I'm kind of clicking and adding them to my lower third at the moment. But if any of the moderators want to hop in and flag some of the questions during the show, I would, of course, greatly appreciate that. Anthony Hall says 10 seconds for an intro, then 30 seconds news brief, and then 10-second outro for your news jingle, of course. course. A really, really good idea there. And a lot of chat, loads and loads of chat going on. So I'm trying to get to as many of your questions as I can. But if I can't answer everything, I do apologize. The chat does go by rather fast during these shows. David Lewis, I used to match clip loudness last night on a multi-track. The music and drops were fine, but my audio, the interview, clipped badly. Why would that be? I matched to minus 14 RMS. And I'm guessing your audio wasn't clipped before you used match loudness, which is weird because match loudness shouldn't really be clipping. I do know, however, there is the possibility in match loudness window here in Adobe Audition to use true peak limiting. Here it's enabled by default, and if you have that, usually match loudness will not alter the sound of your audio, it'll just change the amplitude. But when you have true peak limiting enabled, and you might want to check if you did or didn't when you were doing your conversion or your loudness matching, it will run like a hard limiter almost. So let me show you hard limiting for those of you that haven't seen it in action. It's good because it moves everything to a uniform volume. Like here, I could say, right, I want to hard limit to minus 3 dB and run this. Let's first of all preview it. Yeah, it's working there. So apply. And look at that now. That audio will not go higher than minus 3 dB on the scale. And that's confirmed if I go to amplitude statistics, scan the selection, minus 3 dB. Here is our peak amplitude. Let me pop that out for a second. Hang on. We'll undock the panel and move it here. Amplitude statistics, by the way, is really good if you want some detail on what you've done or what you've got going on with your audio. But yeah, minus 3 dB now is peak, and the total RMS amplitude is minus 12 dB. So you can look at these for your kind of loudness levels and bits like that. Possibly clipped samples, 0. Amplitude statistics, David, would tell you if you have any real clipping going on and you've got anything to fix. And I think if you click these buttons here that look like kind of Google Maps pins, they will actually show you on the map here. Let's go back to screen share. It will show you where your peaks are. So I just clicked that once. That's a minus 3 dB clip right there. That's the loudest my audio gets. Again, if I had some clipped samples, let's see whether I can manually clip this a little bit and then scan again. Now we got loads of clip samples. 107,000 of them, and then I can skip through like by keep clicking that, and you'll see all the clipped samples there as my playhead just skips along and shows me here's a clip sample, here's a clip sample, here's a clip sample. But if I had 1 or 2 clips, I could use this to easily pinpoint them and then maybe do some restoration work on them using EQ or maybe noise restoration, or maybe just even cutting out the clip. If it's like tiny fraction of a second, I might get away with cutting it out. I will get back to more of your questions shortly. I do appreciate that there's a ton of really valuable and valid questions coming in. I can also see that you're watching on Twitch, so it's nice to have you tuned in from Twitch. Always good to have Twitch viewers and Facebook viewers as well on Facebook Live. Wayne is watching from the town of Grand Falls, Windsor, Newfoundland and Labrador. Is that in Canada? Wow. Awesome. So going to get back to it. And then again, halfway through the show at 30 minutes in, I'll get back to more of your comments and questions. So this is what we built so far with our radio news jingle. Starts like this. And here's the lovely bit we've got going on at the moment, which is the talk over bed before the news starts. Now, ideally, we want the host to have a heads up to stop talking at some point. And I like to make it a round number, so it'd be nice if it could be 10 seconds to the hour that they have to stop talking. Which is brilliant because there's the beat there, beat 1. So I can put in a nice riser again. And as I so aptly name risers, it's the stop talking kind of signal to the radio host so they know that the vocals are coming in. Let's match loudness on that. Actually, that's a bit drawn out. I don't really want a riser that lasts so long. Let's go for this 7-second riser. Okay, I need to maybe turn the amplitude down on that because it's a bit too loud. Okay. So then we're going to say something. I'm doing this on the fly. I haven't prepped this jingle creation. I'm doing this for you live right now. So I need to think of what to say. On the hour, every hour, international news right here. Yeah, we could do that. On the hour, every hour, international news right here. No, right here is a bit lame, isn't it? On the hour, every hour, international news. Yeah, on the hour, every hour, international news. Or on the hour, every hour, keeping you up to date with international... No, that's too drawn out. On the hour, every hour, keeping you up to date. Every hour, international news, keeping you up to date. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so we need to go in an armor track for recording. Don't worry, it's not as military as it sounds. It's just simply adding a mono input from my mixing desk, hitting record. Hello, hello, boo, boo, boo. Okay, let's do this. Let's rock it. On the hour, every hour. Oh... I would say an expletive, but I'm live, so I won't. Let's try it again. Try and riff with this. Let me just... You do get a preview when you hit record on a multi-track bit. On the hour, every hour, international news, keeping you up to date. Okay. I missed my cue again. Come on, Mike, get it together. On the hour. Oh! You see, this is the life of a radio producer. On the hour, every hour, international news, keeping you up to date.
All the hits.
All right, I think we cracked it there. Little bit of tiny post, and we're going to be sounding like we just know what we're talking about. All I needed was the raw audio. Switch off record now. And we're coming in from here. So it's going to be there. Then it's going to be there on the beat. On the hour. Every hour. And then international news. Keeping you up to date. Oh, bye-bye. There we go. Let's have a flange. Every hour. International. Every hour. Every hour, international news, keeping you. Every hour, international news, keeping you up to date. Okay, that's all right, isn't it? We can throw in some effects afterwards to jazz it up a bit, but... On the hour, every hour, international news, keeping you up to date. I don't like the fact that news kind of merges into keeping you up to date. See there? Not happy with that merge because they're kind of overlapping too much. I think in imaging, overlapping is okay, but if I can use a bit of cheeky time stretch, I will. Every hour, international news, keeping you up. Perfect. Let's just do a fade in on that. Hour, international. I've got a clicking noise there. Every hour, international news, keeping you up to date. And again, I'm going to fade that in nicely. In fact, I'll do fades on everything so it sounds all smooth and nice. On the hour, every hour, international... No, we're losing some decay on that now, so let's bring that over. Do that. Every hour, click. Oh. Yeah. Where's that offending click? Let's track it down. I clicked. I think it's there. I think it's somewhere around here. Yeah. There we go. There is the beast. Right. Okay. Gonna try this. Cutting out a click from a voiceover. Those annoying clicks. You get the perfect take, and then there's a in the middle of the voiceover. Yes, Audition is warning me that it's referenced in one or more multi-track sessions. This action may change the duration of the file, which could cause clips which reference this file to become out of sync. This is okay. I don't mind this. But I will get a huge exclamation mark inside my Adobe Audition multi-track session now. Look at that. Look! Exclamation marks everywhere! You've messed it all up! But don't worry, if you want to get rid of that, that's because I edited the waveform directly, and the multi-track is not happy with me for doing that. Dismiss warning. Oh, dismiss all warnings. There, better now. Okay, let's see how that sounds now. On the hour, every hour, international news, keeping you up to date.
All the hits.
Again, I'm going to run this a little bit shorter and time stretch it. National news, keeping you up to date.
All the hits.
Yeah, nice. And I fancy a bit of filter here over... I think this is our... Oh, I don't need to lock in time. Just hold down shift and move. This is Lena. She's a brilliant vocalist. You can order her at musicradiocreative.com. Really has got a great voice. She is from Sweden. And yes, wonderful, wonderful lady as well. On the hour, every hour, international news, keeping you up to date.
All the hits. Z100.7.
Okay, we're going to do something with that transition because I'm not quite happy with that. But it is 30 minutes into the show. And as always, I like to focus on you and what you're up to. Ross Levine is in. Nice to see you on the Facebook Live as well. Joe is nicely moderating Facebook over there as well, which is fantastic. And yeah, a ton of really cool questions coming in today. So do keep them coming. I can see Juan's in. Nice to see you from Mexico. Really good to see Carlos as well. Hey, Carlos. I don't think I've seen you before in the chat, but Carlos is there. He says, hi from Chile. I'm Chile Podcast Pontosile. Nice. That's awesome, Carlos. Well, welcome to the show. If you are new, this is the show for you. If you like audio, it's for podcasters, it's for radio hosts and programmers, it's for DJs, it's for voiceover artists, audio producers. Yes! Oh, and we got a nice subscription. Alin, no way to die. Just subscribe to the channel. Thank you for that. Really, really kind of you. So we've also got Nightbot in there moderating things at the moment too. What else? Okay. Let's have a look here. What have we got? We've got Mega Radio UK, who is asking me, the other day you were demonstrating the voiceover, and the reason the Australian voice didn't sound like an Australian voice is because the frequencies were too low. That was, I think, on the computer-generated Apple Australian voice that I used. I wasn't that impressed with it. So there you go. Yep, Oakley is watching from Tanzania, which is good. Oh, wow. Original Fake is in, and Original Fake has a couple of things to say to me, including, hi Mike, nice beard. Thank you. Thanks for that. And also, I'm back to your channel after almost 3 years away. Well, where have you been? It is good to have you back. That's brilliant. Really, really good to have you back. Who else have we got watching today in the chat? We got David Day, who's from Thailand, which is really, really cool. So nice to have you watching the live stream today. Also in from New Zealand, we got Laurie Stambridge as well, who's a podcaster down under. So it's lovely to have you in the chat. Hassan Jama as well is in. I believe you're from Norway, aren't you, Hassan? So it's absolutely lovely to have you there. Joe, of course, as you know, is moderating. A little off topic, but does your webcam zoom in and out, or is it a fixed focal length? Well, this is interesting. I do have an app I can show you on my screen share, Joe, and others watching right now, called Webcam Settings. Let's show the settings panel, and this is what makes me look half decent on the webcam. And I think here you can mess about with zoom here somewhere in advanced. It's a very good app. It's available for Mac OS. Zoom. Oh wow, yeah, that's. Oh, it's kind of, yeah, doesn't zoom much, but you can see it zooms a little bit. And that's not a real zoom, by the way. That's a digital zoom, so it's not going to be that great quality. Also with focus as well, I switch auto off. Otherwise, every time I move in and out from the webcam, it kind of loses its focus. It kind of goes like this. It goes all blurry. And that's not good, unless I want to be anonymous. Wow, Easy Media donated $2 New Zealand dollars to the show. Thank you so much, Easy Media. Really, really appreciate you for doing that. Wonderful donation, and that has come in, I believe, via a super chat on the YouTube channel, which is absolutely wonderful. So yeah, Joe, I hope that answers your question. You can do all kinds of cool stuff with this. Like I can turn the brightness right. Whoa, you see, there you go. It blows me out. So any problems with the webcam settings is most definitely your tool to be working with. Right, just before I head back and do some more stuff with the news jingles, we'll have a look. What have I got here? A really good question has come in from Theus Esibum. How do I become a voiceover artist at MRC, at Music Radio Creative? This is one we get asked really, really often, like every day. And we do recruit often for voiceover artists and also for audio producers. Now, I know just recently there was a post, a little bit off topic here, but there was a post in the Music Radio Creative community. Isabella is advertising currently for an audio producer. So if you are an audio producer and you reckon you're up to standard and you'd like to work with the amazing team at MRC, we're currently looking. But Isabella did say we can't reply to everyone. And the reason for that is literally when we advertise for a position, we get floods, usually between 200 and 350 applications every time we advertise. When we don't advertise, we usually get like five applications, I would say. About, what would it be? Isabella would know this better. Anywhere between 5 and 30 to 40 applications per week at least. Isabella may correct me because she's closer to the wire on this, but Isabella is our head of talent as well as head of a lot of other things at Music Radio Creative, and the best way to do it is to stand out from the crowd, so do something to really capture attention. I mean, yeah, if we place an advert, that's it. We're swamped. And also another good way to sort of get in there is join the community over at community.musicradiocreative.com and contribute in there. If you sort of show yourself as an active part of the Music Radio Creative community and you're good, and yeah, you do have to be good. We're really, really picky about working with voiceover artists, and that's our kind of USP. It's like, yeah, of course, you can go over to the cheaper websites where you can work with talent on a one-on-one basis. But our deal is, if you come to MRC, all the voice artists have a really, really good setup. They've got low noise levels in their studio. Their audio is going to be quality. You don't have to worry about that as somebody who's purchasing audio from MRC. So if you reckon you've got an up-to-scratch voiceover studio, you've got a bit of experience, and you've got a great voice, and you're willing to embrace the community. Oh, I can see Isabella's actually in the chat, so it might actually be handy to bring in some of Isabella's thoughts here. Wow, thank you, Easy Media, for another donation to the show. That's amazing. Isabella says, there you go, there's Isabella, feature her. The lower third there, demo at musicradiocreative.com is the place to send your demo. So go there. And Isabella does confirm we get at least a few emails every single day, which of course piles up to double digits by the end of the week, and we try to respond to everyone. It's really, 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 really difficult, but again, this is why I do this live stream every day, because I'm really serious about helping people, not just voiceover artists but audio producers, to up their game and to learn new tricks. But not only that, I'm learning from doing this as well. And if we can't respond to you via email, I always try to feature questions here on the stream and answer you that way. So I don't think you'll ever get totally ignored by us. But if you do email us a couple of times and don't hear anything back, feel free to keep persisting and pursuing, because it's difficult. It's difficult to keep up with everything. But yeah, Isabella says if you place an advert, she won't leave the office for a week. So there you go. And David Silk there in the chat saying picky is good. which is great. Thank you. And thank you, by the way, David. I'm not in the least bit upset that you sent me some personal feedback. You probably you might not want me to talk about it here on the stream, but I was glad that you picked me up on a show where I went a little bit off topic. Thanks for Stuart for subscribing. So always trying to make these live streams as good as I can, and I do appreciate that feedback very much indeed. Right. One last ninja tip from Isabella. Before I get back, quality of recording is very important. There you go. You heard it from the horse's mouth. Quality of recording, very, very important. And don't go using Adobe Audition noise reduction if you've got a noisy studio. We use Adobe Audition every day. We know those tricks. Get your audio quality sounding good and don't process it. Please, just make sure your studio is good. That's the best advice I can give you. Anyway, let's hop back and see what we're doing over here with the...
You up to date.
All the hits.
Now, I was thinking of maybe firing in Z100.7 or maybe just a repetition of all the hits. All the hits. Oh, yeah, we need to set up our audio channels here. 3 and 3. There we go. New. And we'll say all the hits. All the hits. I kind of wanted to try and place that on the beat. Favorites, normalize. And then over here, bring that in. Where is it? Untitled 4 here. Let's take my second take. And match that together. And then, yes, I wanted to get an on-beat kind of all the hits. One thing I do miss sometimes when working with BPM jingles is having a grid in Adobe Audition. Oh, thank you, Jacob, for subscribing. Having a grid, a BPM grid to work with. I know you can flick down here and get the BPM bars and beats here, but I'd love it if we had a snappy little grid that would show you BPM in Audition. That's one thing I think I would really like to see.
Hits.
That's cool. So I wanted to do something like that.
Hits.
And I'm going to shift and move that up here and try it here.
Hits.
Maybe double the voice. Let's do that. Oh, yeah, I need to shift and copy.
Hits. Z100.7.
That's a bit noisy, that riser, isn't it? Let's pull the riser down a bit.
Z100.7.
So there is our news jingle starting to take shape. Now, we do have an interesting point here where I'm just going to take that and copy that. We could do something nice at the start, make it a bit of a donut.
Z100.7.
Let's bring the 7 back.
100.7.
And
Z100.7.
now I can hear a little. Let's just take this and see if we can do something funny with this. Maybe that's going to work, but maybe not. Just going to have a play. Actually, what I can do now is hold down the Alt, and move. Yeah, like that. Let's try and get this on beat. Again, this is where I could use a grid. Let's pop that there and take this. Yep, pop that there. Yes! Thank you, Toxic Venom Bros. You guys on YouTube have weird names, don't you? Right. Let's try something like that. And move that there. And then I'm going to be... Oh, I can't marquee select. That's interesting. Let's move that back a bit, because my idea is to use this to lead into the start of the jingle. So we got something that sounds...
Z100.7.
Let's move this up a bit.
Z100.7.
Maybe like this.
Z100.7.
Maybe like this.
Z100.7.
Let's get the 7 on the beat. Let's see how that works. Oh, Moonraker 0071 following on Twitch there.
7.
I like the number 7. It's lucky, so I'm going to echo that on the echo track. 7 is a good number to echo. Right. Now I want a real kind of builder to come in. Oh, didn't we have a build at the start of this news jingle? Let's just have a listen to it. See what we got here. Drag it onto a new track. Have a listen to this. Yeah, just before that comes in, I quite like that effect on the start of our news bed there. So we got something that sounds like this, matching the clip loudness here. Get back to your comments in just a minute. I'm just going to finish this and then see what you've been saying. So that's going to come in at exactly the 30-second mark to the hour with that beep. And we want to use some kind of FX with tails. Oh, that's nice.
Z100.7.
Let's match the clip loudness. We do still need something to pad this jingle out a bit. That's not really working for me, that stutter, so let's get rid of that. Oh, how about a little bit of reverse reverb? New file. Okay, we'll do that in just a second. Let's see what you have been saying there in the chat here on this this wonderful live stream that I'm enjoying. Right. What have we got here? Let's have a look here. More questions, more of your wonderful questions coming in. Joe, here's one from over on Facebook Live. Ivo Spazov says, you can remove clicks and spectral with the spectral view without changing the duration of the audio clip. Oh, yeah, like the kind of spot healing brush tool. That's a really good idea. I've not done that before. I never thought about using that feature to remove clicks, but now you've mentioned it, Evo, I'm definitely going to give that a go. Glad to have you here, as Joe says in the Facebook chat. And what a cool tip. Evo's from BG Radio. Where is BG Radio located? Let me know. Excel says, hi from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a DJ. Nice to have you watching. And yeah, Joe's not too far away from you. He's just a little bit south. Moonraker 0071 is now following on Twitch. Very grateful for that follow. Mr. Mega Radio UK, can I suggest you put the normalize on the keyboard shortcut, as it will make the workflow faster? Absolutely. You know, I used to have normalize and mix down and also silence on hotkeys for Adobe Audition, but now I tend to go to my favorites menu. And the reason why, because I use Adobe Audition so much to teach and to do different settings, I'm always forever messing up my version of Audition and resetting it. So I never get round to reprogramming the hotkeys back in. So I kind of get used. I know it's not always efficient to doing it that way, but great tip there, Mr. Mega Radio UK. If someone in the chat is trying to learn Spanish, go to oh, yeah, I can't read that out. I need to learn Spanish. But thank you, Carlos. Really kind of you. Rovigo55, is it more important, the voice type or quality, or the studio quality? The latter can be improved later. In addition, an Italian voiceover could be requested. I think we've got a couple of Italian voiceovers at the moment, but we could always do with more. So yeah, really interesting question. I think Isabella would be the one to answer this, but let me have a think about it. Voice type or quality or studio quality? Well, it all depends, I guess. So here's an example. How unique are you as a voiceover artist, yeah? You may be mediocre as a voiceover artist, right? You may have a mediocre voice, but you may be the only person who can speak Swahili, for instance, yeah? or one of the few people who can speak Swahili but has a microphone. So that's a great benefit point. And then obviously it would be brilliant to have you there, because that's probably a very specialist talent. The same thing with if you can do something funny, like if you can do an impersonation of the Queen. You may not be the best voiceover artist in the world, but you've got the Queen Elizabeth II, down to a T. I don't know if there's a demand for it. That's the thing. It's all about supply and demand, isn't it? What do people want? And we're all figuring that out, aren't we? So yes, if you have a unique talent, that can definitely sort of help you. But I mean, no matter, here's the long and short of it, no matter how good you are, you could be the best voiceover artist in the world. Literally amazing. You could have worked with the biggest clients in the world, yeah? And you might have gone recording in their own studios, but then you've got a little tinny home setup that doesn't do your voice justice. You're not going to be working with MRC, unfortunately. We might, do our best to help you and point you in the right direction to equipment you could get to become better. But yeah, you're right. If you're a good voice artist, or you have a good talent or a good skill, you need to have a good studio as well, basically. That's the answer to that question. Anthony wants to know where I got the lower third from. Go to mrc.fm/YouTube questions, mrc.fm/YouTube questions. It's a brilliant bit of code that Ule, a developer from Norway in the MRC community, created for us. And it's really, really cool, isn't it? Oh, sorry, I think I misread that. Where did you get it from that shows your name? Again, that's something I got from Video Hive, I think. And I did make a post, by the way, in the Music Radio Creative community, which is right over here, about the morphing countdown timer I use. I posted up all the elements that I use to make that kind of morphing countdown you see at the start of the show. But now you're asking about the lower third. I might add that as an addition there to that post. But yeah, it's a lower third template essentially from Video Hive, one of my favorite resources. By the way, I wanted to play this again. The call-in number, I always leave it there and open in case you want to call the show. It's +1 and then this number.
415-800-1055, Mike Russell.
And I was so pleased to have Anna Clements record that as a treat for me. She uploaded it to SoundCloud. Oh, Grunt Sculpture is now following as well. It's great to get some followers on Twitch. Could do with them. So thank you, Anna, for that recording. 415-800-1055. That's an American number. David, I think, mentioned that it cost him $0 to call from Australia to that US number, which is pretty cool. You must have a really nice calling plan. So there you go. Lots of great chat. Like I say, if I don't always get to your conversation, I do apologize, but I try to get into the content as much as I can as well. So we got something here, and I was going to reverse reverb this. So let's stick on let's insert some silence of about 8 seconds here. Oh, okay, hang on. We need to copy that to a new file. I think I already did. Let's go over here. Edit, insert silence, 8 seconds, or 10 seconds even. Place the marker here for the start of the audio. Marker, and then reverse, effects, special, reverb, studio reverb. I think we need about 5 seconds of that. Okay, that looks good. Lovely. And then reverse it back around. That's our in point there. Bring the reverse reverb in. By the way, I've done a whole show on how to do reverse reverb, so go search for that on my channel if you want to use the reverse reverb in more detail.
100.7.
Okay, let's do something. Oh, hang on. Back to the right tool for the job. And turn it down. Match clip loudness.
100.7. 100.7. Z100.7.
And again.
Z100.7.
Okie dokie, taking a look at the weather for the Isle of Wight. Mostly cloudy for the next hour, and then later on it's going to be cloudy until tomorrow morning. Yes, welcome to the school holidays. But it is 20 degrees, so a good chance to go outside and keep warm.
On the hour, every hour, international news, keeping you up to date.
All the hits.
The hits.
Z100.7.
It's 3 o'clock, I'm Mike Russell. So there you go. I think we've constructed a pretty half-decent news jingle there. And as you can see, that's how you'd use the talk up donut bit to do a weather forecast or something like that. I was thinking, because I often get asked questions like this, so it's good to whack it in there as a little bonus in this session. If we go into effects and generate tones, let's go for the default and then bring it to 1000 hertz. It's like that, those beeps that you get often on radio stations. You can do that like this. So we can put it... Ooh, that's exciting. We've got a phone call. It looks like a number from the United Kingdom. Hello, MRC Live. You're on with me, Mike, in the last 5 minutes of the show. Who's this?
Mike, very good afternoon to you. It's David Lewis.
David, it's great to have you calling. How can I help you today?
Well, I thought I'd just quickly rack your brain. You mentioned that match clip loudness problem I was having.
Yes.
On that same session, I was going to just master purely the interview part, not the music, because they come from obviously finished albums. Is that correct? I would just use something like the Ozone Elements I've got purely on my audio, my interview part.
So you were going to master just the interview but nothing else in your whole session?
That's what I was thinking. I'm trying to sort of learn the way. I thought that made sense logically, but I'm not sure if it's right or not.
It's an interesting idea. So what are you hoping to achieve by just mastering the interview?
Well, I was thinking that this particular interview is on my jazz show, so all of the tracks are come from like Blue Note albums, which are beautifully mastered anyway. So I didn't really want to touch those. I thought, well, they're professionally mastered. Drop those tracks in between the interview, and it's purely the part of me talking to the guest, to the artist, that I thought would need any kind of mastering on it. But I didn't know if that was the right approach or not.
That is a really, really good question. So I see where you're coming from. I see your issue. Yes, you're using decent jazz tracks and elements that already have nice mastering and sound good. So you don't want to kind of ruin their sound, but you do want to improve the interview. Right. Okay. What I would be tempted to do, absolutely, is not go too aggressively. So if you can have, mastering may not be the best tool for the job in that situation, and I'm sure others will have an opinion in the chat as well. But I would maybe look to compress and EQ, or EQ and compress, I should say. EQ first and then compress.
I did exactly what you suggested on that, when I took it, because I had to record it on a mobile recorder. Yeah. So I took it off a Zoom, and then I did the ENCN.
Cool.
And then dropped into the multi-track.
Yeah, and that's a really good idea. What I would say with mastering, and when you're using mastering as an effect, usually mastering is to put the final polish on a finished piece of audio. So mastering, I would say, is not so much for cleaning things up and making them sound better, although there are certain elements that can do that. Mastering is kind of like, right, everything's sounding good. I've got everything sounding right at the right levels. Now I just want a bit of polish. I want to add the exciter. So I'd maybe, equalize, compress, get it sounding really good. Get your levels right.
Yeah, that made a big difference. Yep. That made a big difference.
Good. So
so maybe just not use the mastering on that track then, on that audio part.
Absolutely. Or maybe if you did want to use it as the final thing in the chain, like on the master channel, I would use it in such a way that you're using it very lightly. So maybe just a tiny bit, tiny bit of loudness maximizer and a tiny bit of exciter. But then you've got to be a little bit concerned if you use too much exciter, you're going to make maybe the spoken word sound good, but you might ruin the music tracks by distorting the trebles too much. So
perfect. Okay, so less is more kind of thing.
Indeed. That cheer was for you, by the way, I think.
Was it? Oh, how very polite.
David, I really appreciate you calling in the last few minutes of the show. That was so cool.
Thank you, Mike. Cheers.
Cheers. All the best. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye. David Lewis, amazing. 415 800 1055. Add +1 to that if you're outside the UK. Outside the US, it's a US number. And you can call that number 24 hours a day and leave a voicemail, which I'll then play on the show. But if you call between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. UK time, you get on the live stream with me. Just before I go, I was going to make some beeps like this, which you may well have heard before. Let's just see whether we can slot them in and make them sound good on the seconds here. Let's see. You know what I'm doing here now. You get the idea. Need to change the levels on them a bit. That's the news beeps, which again you can do with Generate Tones in Adobe Audition. Well, it's been action-packed today, and we got to the end of the session. I've enjoyed being here with you. Tomorrow, make sure, just before I go, I want to tell you this, make sure you go to youtube.com/musicradiocreative and click set reminder on tomorrow's live stream. I particularly want you back tomorrow because I'm going behind the scenes in my live video studio, so I want to make sure you're here for that. I'm going to take my webcam and move it all around the studio and show you a little bit behind the curtain, behind the green screen here at Music Radio Creative on the Isle of Wight. So you don't want to miss tomorrow's live stream. That is on Thursday, the 24th of August 2017 from 2 p.m. UK time.